Hello, welcome to Couples Talk. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist and 3-time intramural yodeling finalist. Yodelay, yodel, yodel. This is Alicia, my wife. She is always dominant. With us today.
That intro wins, like totally wins.
And with us today we have Ilya and Katie Vrajic. And thank you for being here. We have covered navigating health troubles as a couple. We have covered navigating depression as a couple, and now the greatest challenge, having a huge family.
Just huge.
Just enormous.
Who does that?
I mean, we're in Utah, so it's actually kind of like standard
It's not
size.
that big.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But you travel, people are like, do you guys not like know you can stop anytime you want?
Yeah.
I'm from California, and when we moved from California, I only had 3 kids at that point. But when they saw me, they were like, "Girl,
Yeah, 3
what
kids.
is wrong with you?" Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I had an alien.
And now in Utah, they're like, so you're going to level up, right? You're
Yeah.
still gonna-
They're like, 5, so how many more are you going to go?
Yeah,
We're done.
So 5 kids. We also have 5 kids.
it's true.
And yeah, I heard a comedian who was like, the reason we have 5 children is because we do not want 6. So why 5? Why was that your number?
I don't think we ever really had we never were the couple that were like, we want to have X amount of kids. Like, we just felt that we would have as many kids as we felt we should have. And
Yeah.
I think the last one, Kate, what?
We should have talked about this before. I just really feel like we have actually 1 or 2 more babies, but they just can't come through
Well,
me
this is
because
new.
of speaking. This is not new. We've had this conversation.
Oh, that's
a lot
right.
of
You want
times.
to adopt, yeah.
We even know that our daughter's name that's waiting for us, at least that one.
Well, she does.
Yeah.
Anyway, the topic of how many kids is kind of stressful, even between a couple. But we just kept having kids until I couldn't handle it anymore, basically.
Yeah.
That's how we ended up with 5. And I get really bad anxiety and depression when I'm pregnant. And we didn't even talk about that in the last video, but that's like the biggest source of my anxiety and depression probably. And I just couldn't bring myself to do that again to my children. So
Yeah.
I stopped.
What has been the biggest challenges, as, obviously you don't have 5 kids all at one time. They come one at a time, usually, thankfully. What has been the biggest challenges, as you've raised a large family and you're still raising them? You're at a baby toddler stage. Like, what were just overall, what have been the biggest challenges? How have you overcome them? And then what are the new challenges that you're still dealing with, and what are you trying?
You go ahead, because
I would say that the biggest challenge as a couple is that when we get married, our primary attachment is each other. And then when these kids come into our life, all of a sudden there's all of these 5 other humans that have me as their primary attachment. And that competition feeling for him between the kids, for my time, basically, the competition for my time, has been a huge deal. And
yeah, so like if at the end of the day I want to talk or whatever, she's already spent because she spent all day.
She's like, I'm talked, I'm touched,
Yeah,
I'm all out.
she's like, I'm
Yeah.
done.
Like,
I don't
just
have
leave me
time for
alone.
whatever you got to tell me.
yeah.
You've been there.
What?
I've come home from work to give her a kiss, and she's like, not now. I'm like, it's just a kiss, hello. She's like, I'll mean it in an hour. If I gave it to you now, it wouldn't mean anything. And I'm like,
Yeah.
So he has
and then she does. And then she's had some space, and then she's ready to hug me and kiss me, and it's all great.
So he looks at me, and then he either reads the situation and like gives me a hug, or he's like, oh, no hug. We're not hugging right now. Or if he's not sure, he asks a question.
Permission to approach.
genius.
We've done something like that.
That's
She's
a
like,
great question.
and as I've taken more and more, working at home, and then, she's been running this company, and so I'm having more time with the kids than I used to have before. I don't quite have, the same, like, don't touch me towards her, but I
Because
definitely
you
have.
weren't growing any humans in your
Because
body.
I never grew humans in my body, but I definitely
fed
have. But I
humans
definitely get
in
to a
your
place
body.
with them where I'm like, yeah, Daddy doesn't want to hug right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
like when
kind of-
when Katie leaves town, for the weekend, and I've got all 5 kids, by the end, and she comes back, I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to know anything about I want to be alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah,
I
so I
actually
get
love
it.
going away mostly so that when I come back, he validates me so much. And I'm like, yes.
It only takes half a day, and I'm like, I don't know how you do this every day.
Yeah. It's just amazing. It's the best feeling.
So the competition for your time and
Yeah.
and that connection. So what have you guys, besides taking trips so he understands?
I think just I think we've been through it so many times that I think I've gotten to the point now that I know it's not personal. It's just, I mean, obviously I've experienced taking care of the kids, and I just know it's not the time. So that process of just knowing this is how it is and kind of getting over that.
I think overall in our marriage, I think that's one of our strengths is that we have a lot of grace with each other. And so we can just say, like, this is not personal. That goes back to all of the things like depression
if we're having a bad time,
or if we're
we
really
know
cranky,
just to leave the other person alone, and eventually they'll come out of it. They just need to
and we
time.
don't stress about it. Like, it's not a big deal. And I think he's been able to do that with me with parenthood, but also I think we've gotten really good at noticing we're too far apart right now. Like, we need an overnight, we need a date, we need something.
We need to do something to create more connection.
We
between
need
us.
to create more connection. We can feel
We
when
can
it's
feel
too much.
when we're just kind of existing
He'll
as
say,
like friends.
We're
instead of a
roommates
couple.
again. We need to do something about this. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So we find somebody to watch the kids, or we.
But I think another thing, a difficult thing with parenting as well, is we both come from completely different. Like, I was brought up a different way, so I have certain. Not traditions, but the way that I
completely different family
Parenting
of
styles.
origins
right.
and how you handle
and
things.
what I think is going to work and not work, and she has a completely different one. And a lot of it, she's obviously more with the kids so her influence is much greater, and so there have been times where we've been frustrated where I think the way that she's doing it is not the right way, and that normal conflict. So I think that was another one.
Yeah, parenting style is a big one, but also, like, he wants a voice with the children. He wants, but because they don't have so much less time with him, he doesn't have as much of a voice with them. And I think that feels super frustrating to him sometimes. Like, he wants to be able to, well, and also, like, I spend a lot of time learning or reading or
Because you
bettering my
homeschool,
parenting skill.
so like it's like even more. With
I'm
them.
literally with them all the time, but I'm also studying all the time about how I can do this better.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to, like, catch him up, like, get him on board, and, like, to do it synchronized, like,
simultaneously.
yeah. And he just wants to come in and do it the way that he feels like doing it. And it oftentimes is not
That's
working.
not familiar, is it?
What?
That's not a thing in our marriage.
We've had a lot of arguments over that, actually. Like, the thing he'll get most mad about is when he tries to say something, and I'm like, that's not how we do it, And he's like,
Dude,
you
do you
cannot.
want to go out, like, get some lunch after this? Like, I feel like we could be.
He's like,
you
you
two
cannot.
could really hear each other, and you could feel understood. It's an important human need.
It is.
Well, I understand that. I understand from his perspective that it'd be super frustrating to have my authority, like, undercut all the time with kids, and I get that would be frustrating.
Well,
but I just don't think about it in the minute. In the moment, I'm like, why are you doing that?
In the moment,
That's
you're like,
stupid.
I've got a system, and
Yeah.
you're messing up the system.
You're jacking up everything I've been doing.
I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing that's the type of conversation a couple like yourselves might have.
For sure.
But no. Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that's where communication comes in. I think in those moments where we've been that's been the most frustrating is where Katie's read something and she's now wanted to implement something, but it's not gotten communicated to me. And then she goes out of
That
town
actually happens a lot.
and it's like, we've changed these rules
All the systems.
that I don't know about. So usually what works is if at some point we have that ability to connect, and then she says, hey, I'm thinking we want to do this, and kind of brings me up to speed and tells me why.
That's where we diverge, because she always communicates it with me, and then I forget about that conversation, and she's like, you're not allowed to do this if you don't remember what we talked about. And I'm sorry. Good times.
It's important to know the rules of the game.
Yeah. It's like
Well, I have
it's
to-
like Calvin Ball. You read Calvin and Hobbes, how the rules
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that when she's gone, I have to oftentimes ask my kids what the rules are.
oh, that's a great.
Are they
system.
allowed to do that? Like, is he allowed? Hey, my oldest son is Peja. Is like, Peja, are they allowed to do that? Well, yeah, they're allowed to do that. Okay.
Are they trustworthy voices though? Because I've had kids,
Peja is the oldest. Is yes.
Okay.
The other ones, no, not so much.
because she and we're on the same page. Like I'm movie night with my kids on Friday night, but during the week they can't just like watch movies. And one time she was away, and like one of our kids says, "Mom said that we can watch 3 movies in a row." And I'm like, I know
Oh,
for a fact that was
sure.
never something that she said.
Yeah, I go, okay, I'm gonna call mommy, and if she says no, if that's not the rule, then you're gonna get these kind of consequences, and then you see them, well, you know.
Yeah. Do you care to revise your statement?
I think that's something that we're working on a lot all the time because he's so focused on work. He spends 12, 16 hours a day working. He spends so little time with our family. We have so
Which I would say is also a challenge, or a problem, or you know, in our marriage with raising kids, is that the entrepreneurial lifestyle is not a 9 to 5, you know, set schedule. Like, and then after in the evening, I'm now all focused on family. It's just always encompassing, and so that tension is always there, which is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's solely focused on work all the time. It's very challenging for him to switch focus to home and family life. So that's a big reason why these kinds of things aren't communicated very much. And I've like talking about radical acceptance, I've just had to completely let go of that. And when he can be present with us, then I like enjoy that. And when he's not, he's not. But that does create a lot of friction with parenting. And that's something we are definitely working on all the time still, because that's not something I feel like we have solved even a little.
You know what I love about this conversation today, though, is how real it is. Because you have given fantastic insights and ideas, and you know, learn from how we stumbled. Here's where we landed. That works for us. But the fact is, we're all figuring it out. You know, people are sometimes surprised when they learn that we have conflict in our marriage because they see us and they're like, "Oh, you're so happy," and you know, you're a therapist, and they can't believe we fight, and we just laugh in their faces.
Yeah, there's been a couple. There's actually a couple that was friends of my parents that we were friends with, grew up, and they always say that they've been married 60 whatever years and never fought in a day in their life, and I'm like, that has got to be a lie. There is no way.
You know, for some people, what it means is that they're not being real.
Yeah.
When people say we don't fight, I'm like, so you're not real with each other.
Yeah,
and I mean, there may
a good
be
point.
couples out there who are that harmonious.
Well, and there are select few couples that are so similar, they're just always in sync.
Yeah.
But I would say that is by far the minority.
Yeah.
Like, there is the aspect of not being real, but then there are couples that are so in sync that they're like, all right, sounds good.
And I look at them and I'm like, so you've got hardship elsewhere,
Yeah.
I hope. You know, which is a terrible thing to hope up on a person, but I'm like, you can't be this happy. That's not all right. So, well,
Everybody has a thing.
Right? So we want to thank you both for joining us today. There's been an awesome conversation. If y'all are enjoying what we're doing here on Mended Light, like, subscribe, share, click the bell so you can get all of our videos. We want to direct you to this other video, which is called I Cheated on My Wife Today. That's the copy. Oh no, that was, okay. You need to see that in context. And it wasn't me, but it's an awesome video. Okay. Hey, what else do you want to tell people?
Remember to keep shining. We need your light.
This little light of mine. Everybody, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh my gosh, you did it! That wasn't even scripted.